Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Following recent clashes between opposition parties, President Emerson Mnangagwa, via his Twitter handle, says he is in talks with opposition leader Nelson Chamisa in a bid to douse tension over this week's presidential elections, which resulted in violent clashes on the streets of Harare. The president, while offering his condolences to the families of those killed in the violence and wishing them, the injured, speedy recovery, has called for an independent investigation into Wednesday's violence that left at least 2 people dead. He said those responsible for the violence will be identified and brought to justice. The deployment of soldiers and the beating of unarmed protesters set back Mnangagwa's efforts to shield Zimbabwe's pariah status after decades of repression under Robert Mugabe, who was ousted in a coup in November. Meanwhile, the website that is meant to announce Thursday's election results has been offline after being taken out by unidentified cyber hackers overnight. Moise Katumbi, a presidential hopeful in the Democratic Republic of Congo, plans to return to the country to participate in elections slated for December this year. The former governor and owner of football club TP Mazembe has thus formally applied to the authorities to grant him rights to fly into the country aboard a private jet. A letter sent to the civil aviation authorities dated July 30th and signed by Katumbi requested that his jet flying in from South Africa, where he is currently living, be allowed to land on August 3rd at the Luano Airport, located in the city of Lubumbashi in southeastern Congo. The Director General of World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, has said it would fight the resurgence of Ebola virus in the Democratic Republic of Congo, like it fought the previous epidemics. The government of DR Congo announced on Wednesday that preliminary laboratory results indicated a new cluster of cases of the deadly virus in North Kivu province. The announcement issued just 8 days after the Ministry of Health declared the official end of an Ebola outbreak in Equator province, some 2,500 kilometers from North Kivu. Tedros said Ebola is a constant threat in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which adds to the confidence in the country's ability to respond in the transparency they have displayed once again. Working closely with the Ministry of Health, he said, and other partners, the country will fight this one as they did the last. A convoy carrying election materials in central Mali triggering a shootout in which 4 soldiers and 8 attackers were killed. The spokesman said the attack occurred later Tuesday on the road between Nampala and Koura in the south-central region of Ségou, giving no further details and declining to say whether it was carrying ballot papers. Mali's presidential election, the second since Tuareg rebels and allied Islamists took over the north in 2012, prompting French forces to intervene the following year to push them back, has been beset by attacks at the hands of suspected Islamist militants and allied ethnic militia. Rochas Okorocha, governor of Imo State, Nigeria, in his solidarity visit to President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja, has reiterated his confidence that the remaining governors on the platform of the All Progressive Congress APC will not leave the party. Okorocha, who is the chairman of APC Governors Forum, said this on Wednesday after the governors met with the president. He told State House correspondents that despite the exit of 3 members of the forum, which did not come as a surprise to them, the APC remains stronger and more united. Governor Okorocha noted that solidarity visit to the president was simply to assure him that the 22 members of the forum were still resolute in their stance with the ruling party. The national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress of Nigeria, Adams Oshiomhole, and some senators elected on the platform of the party led by the Senate leader Ahmed Lawan on Wednesday met behind closed doors with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. The meeting came amidst the gale of defections being witnessed in the party. Oshiomhole told State House correspondents at the end of the meeting that the right thing for the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, is to vacate his seat, having left the party. He said it was a matter of honor for Saraki to leave the crown in the family it belongs to. This is just as the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal announced his defection from the APC to the People's Democratic Party on Wednesday. Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State and his counterpart from Kwara, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, had earlier announced their defection to the PDP. Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom on Wednesday urged the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to begin the probe of President Muhammadu Buhari's security vote. Ortom, who spoke to journalists after his broadcast, said he never heard of where security vote was investigated. EFCC had on Monday claimed that it had begun investigation of the Benue State Governor, House of Assembly members and permanent secretaries. Ortom, in his statement, has described the impeachment move against him as illegal, saying it is a plot to destabilize his state. He added that the strange headmen and 10,000 cows had already invaded Guma, his country home and local government area. The Nigerian government has commenced efforts aimed at improving service delivery within its health sector. The initiative, which commenced with the launch of the Patients' Bill of Rights at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, will ensure Nigerians are treated with dignity and respect at both private and public health centers around the country. Plus TV Africa correspondent Amadi Uyi reports.
Poor funding, lack of equipped health facilities, and poorly trained healthcare providers have been the bane of Nigeria's health sector. While efforts have been made to improve on these in the past, experts think customer-provider interaction, which is extremely important, has been ignored.
Of all the factors involved in mediating healing and care in the health sector, none is as important as a compassionate patient-provider interaction.
Respect for human dignity is a universal principle. People never forget how they are treated, especially when they are at their most vulnerable. And there are not many scenarios of vulnerability that are as compelling as the ones that put a person in search of healing.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, recently launched the Patients' Bill of Rights, saying it will ensure the respect and dignity of Nigerians at their most vulnerable moments.
The Bill of Rights is a significant contribution in establishing one of the most important rights of all humanity, the right to life, in which inheres the right to adequate health care.
Also, the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, added that it will provide a win-win situation for all parties.
We must stop playing God as a care provider. The rights of our people must be protected, while at the same time, the right of the provider must also be guaranteed. As often in many situations, providers have been assaulted by patients and their relations.
Nigerians are also urged to ensure strict compliance with the Bill of Rights, saying it will improve the health sector. Amadin Uyi, Plus TV Africa.
The International Committee of the Red Cross said on Wednesday in its Facts and Figures report, January to June 2018, that it was currently seeking the whereabouts of 17,000 Nigerians, among which over 7,100 are children who were missing as a result of the Boko Haram insurgency and herdsmen-farmers clashes in the country. The Red Cross says Benue, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau and Taraba states has witnessed an increase in communal violence since the beginning of the year, during which civilians were injured, killed, and thousands of families forced to flee their homes and now living in makeshift camps. The organization said it was working with the Nigerian Red Cross Society and other Red Cross societies in the Lake Chad region to locate the missing family members and reunite the children with their parents or caretakers. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria have accused the federal government of being complicit in the killing around the country. The group took to the streets of Abuja calling for the release of their detained leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, saying there will be consequences if he dies in government custody. Plus TV correspondent Amadine Uyi reports.
Movement of Nigeria and the Nigeria Police Force. The group, which has never been shy to confront security agencies, once again took to the streets of Abuja. This time they are accusing the federal government of being complicit in the violence, which has led to the death of hundreds across the country.
This is the government that is killing its citizens. This is the president that was voted into power, and he says here in Eagle Square that he belongs to everybody and he belongs to nobody. So what do you want to tell me? They have been killing people in Plateau State, killing people in Zamfara State, killing people in Sokoto State. Any state that is against this government will send its people to go and kill innocent people in their villages. Nobody has peace in this country, and this government is totally behind this killing.
The group were calling for the release of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, warns that there will be consequences if he dies in government custody.
We are out today to warn the government that their agenda, they should just stop it. Because there is no way you can kill somebody, kill his children, and such a person has millions of supporters, and you feel there will be peace for you will be free. It won't happen in this 21st century. They kill us, they buried us alive, they burn people to death, and now they want to kill our leader. We will never take it from anybody.
They say the controversial leader is in need of urgent medical attention and wants him freed unconditionally. Amadine Uyi, Plus TV Africa.
When we return, we'll bring you the latest update on U.S. 2016 ongoing probe of Russia, details of the AM3431 plane crash in Mexico, and much more. Don't go away. U.S. President Donald Trump has ramped up his attacks on the Russia investigation by demanding it end right now. In a series of tweets, he said Attorney General Jeff Sessions must halt the inquiry into alleged election meddling. Mr. Trump also labeled Special Counsel Robert Mueller, who leads the probe, totally conflicted. His remarks are notable because he himself has previously acknowledged the U.S. Department of Justice should be free from political interference. According to U.S. media, some Trump aides believe that Mr. Mueller will report soon on the findings of his 14-month investigation as they relate to the president. Meanwhile, the U.S. has warned Russia over any attempt to meddle in the midterm elections in November following recent Facebook's disclosure of malign activities by external forces targeted at the elections. The U.S. Department of State, in a statement by a spokesperson, Ms. Helder Newt, warned Russia that the U.S. would not tolerate foreign attempts to subvert its democratic process and institutions. Facebook had announced recently that it uncovered some fake Facebook accounts aimed at causing disaffection during the election in November and had removed them. Newt said, and I quote, "We demand that Russia and all other malign actors immediately cease their reckless behavior." From Cambodia, we hear the Prime Minister Hun Sen on Thursday lashed out at an election boycott by the dissolved opposition Cambodia National Rescue Party. The Prime Minister made this known while addressing thousands of factory workers in Phnom Penh after his party claimed victory in Sunday general election, which right groups called a flawed election. Hun Sen, who is 65 years old, whose Cambodian People's Party said it had won all 125 parliamentary seats in Sunday's vote, said the boycott was a stupid act and a miscalculation. The CPP has pointed to what it says was a solid election turnout as proof of the country's sound democratic process. More than 82% of those registered to vote cast their ballots. Turnout was 90% in the 2017 local elections and 69.61% in the previous general elections in 2013. 13. Investigators have found the flight records from an Aeromexico flight which crashed in Mexico, northern Durango state on Tuesday. All 103 passengers and crew on board survived, but 97 were injured, 2 quite seriously. A plane's flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder known as the black boxes often hold vital clues to the moments before an incident. At present, it is unclear exactly what downed flight AM 2431. Up next is our business reports with Edidiong Iwang. Don't go away.
Now this is business news and I am Edidiong Iwang. Now according to reports from the Central Bank of Nigeria on the Purchasing Managers Index, there has been a further expansion in economic activities. Well, this was revealed in the July 2018 report posted on Wednesday. According to Godwin Emefiele, CBN governor, out of the 30 subsectors surveyed, 28 recorded growth in the month under review. Now the report showed that the manufacturing PMI in the month of July stood at 56.8 index points, indicating expansion in the manufacturing sector for the 16th consecutive month, among others. This, however, was a slower growth rate compared to the previous month. The number of prepaid meters supplied by the electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, in Nigeria has increased to 1.59 million in the first quarter of this year as compared to 1.50 million recorded in the last quarter of 2017. Now, this represents a 6.2% increase quarter-on-quarter basis, and that's according to the National Bureau of Statistics' latest report released on Wednesday. Now, Benin DISCOs has the highest percentage with 17.79% of the total consumers metered. This is closely followed by Abuja DISCO with 16.40% and Ibadan DISCO with 15.99% respectively, while Yola DISCO recorded at least the least percentage of the total customers metered with 2.35% and closely followed by Jos DISCO and Kaduna DISCOs with 3.42% and 3.97% respectively. However, players in the meter industry have said the rate of distribution by the DISCOs is still too low to bridge the over 4.7 million metering gap that currently exists in the country as at December last year. The Naira yesterday was strengthened with a 7 kobo appreciation in value. It traded at 362 Naira 36 kobo in the investors and exporters window, as seen from data in FMDQ. Although the Naira appreciated yesterday, the volume of dollar traded dropped from $190.68 million to $90.14 million. However, the Naira remained stable at 358 Naira 30 kobo per dollar in the parallel market. Now, crude oil production from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, increased last month as Saudi Arabia pumped 10.65 million barrels per day. Now, higher crude output from the Saudis, along with Nigeria and Iraq, pushed up the total production from the OPEC by 300,000 barrels per day, offsetting losses from a spiraling economic collapse in Venezuela, political clashes in Libya, and the onset of U.S. sanctions against Iran. The group's 15 members, which now include Congo, collectively produced 32.6 million barrels per day. Well, that's it on business, but still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports news. We'll be back in a moment.
And in entertainment, Nigerian reggae icon Ras Kimono, who died on the 10th of June 2018 after a brief illness, is to be laid to rest this month. The announcement comes following a statement by Mr. Theophilus Ehizibe, who spoke on behalf of the family. According to him, proceedings will begin with a wake keep at his residence in Magodo, Lagos State on the 17th of August. His former record label, Premier Music, will hold a tribute night at Freedom Park on the 20th of August, while the Association of Music Band Organization of Nigeria will hold their own tribute night on the 21st of August. And then the Copyright Society of Nigeria will hold their own tribute night on the 22nd of August. Other activities are lined up for the 24th, and on the 25th is the burial day in Asaba, Delta State, following with Thanksgiving on the 26th. 8 months after winning Miss Ghana, Margaret Derry has resigned. The beauty queen says she sent the organizers an email requesting to step down whilst confirming her decision on Twitter. According to her, being a Miss Ghana queen has honestly been one of the worst experiences of my life. I know it looks good on the outside, but it's just one big sham on the inside. All that glitters is not gold. Ladies, you don't need a crown on your head to succeed. Organizers of the Miss Ghana beauty pageant have responded by gladly accepting her resignation. According to their official statement, they said, and I quote, "We wish Margaret Derry well in her next career, and we do pray that she will